Hello there everybody, this is Geddy92 coming at you today with a new episode of your daily doses of Rush. And today we are back at the Counterparts record, and I haven't read all your comments from the last video where I started the debate about whether Counterparts is a great album by Rush or whether Counterparts is not such as a great album by Rush. And if you haven't seen that video, you better check it out. I was kind of like posting it like 1 or 2 days before now. So you have to check it out, where I was talking about Between Sun and Moon. But today we are back in the game with our favorite boy band Rush, and today's song is Alien Shore. Let's not waste any other second. Let's get right into this masterpiece. That's a great guitar.
You and I, we are strangers by one chromosome, slave to the hormone, body and soul, in a struggle to be happy and free, swimming in a primitive sea. You and I, we must dive below the surface, a world of red neon and ultramarine, shining bridges on the ocean floor, reaching to the alien shore. For you and me, for you and me, you and me, sex is not a competition.
Before I forget that, I totally have to mention, listen to that background guitar now that Alex is playing there. I think that's the classic electric guitar that somehow then sounds like an acoustic guitar. I think that's the one beloved one that I really like whenever Alex is playing this one. I just wanted to mention that, listen to this, because I would have already forgotten it when we would finish the song. Listen to that great guitar by Alex there in the background.
You and I, we reject these narrow attitudes. We add to each other like a coral reef, building bridges on the ocean floor, reaching for the alien shore. For you and me, sex is not a competition. For you and me, race is not a definition. For you and me, no these truths to be self-evident.
And listen to that guitar that Alex is actually now playing there. That this actually sounds like very 80s guitar. You know, the typical 80s pop music when they were just having one drum beat, doing the whole song. And whenever a guitar is added, it's had the same effects as Alex's guitar sounds right now. Just listen to that.
Definition. For you and me, no these truths to be self-evident. For you and me, we elect each other president. For you and me, we might agree, but it's just us reaching for the alien shore. That's just us reaching for the alien shore. That's just us reaching for the alien shore. That's just us reaching for the alien shore.
That's an amazing song, everybody. That's an amazing song. And it was actually the first time that I listened to Alien Shore with very specifically taking care about the lyrics there, actually. And I've read on like 2 videos ago that Counterparts was released in October of 1993. So that's almost 30 years ago, and I was like 1 year old less than 1 year old when Counterparts came out. And I never, being English, that is not my first language, being that factor given there, I never cared or specifically listened to the lyrics of Alien Shore, but it somehow shows all the problems that we still have to this day when it comes down to dividing people into certain categories or factors or whatever you would like to call that. And that's, first of all, totally wrong to do. But it makes me think of that you guys, because I was barely born there, barely alive, you guys had those problems in 1993, back in those days, and still to this day, it might have gotten a bit better. Maybe there are some things when it comes down to sexualization or to gender equality. Maybe there's a very, very slight factor that something was done in the last 30 years on a very, very, very small percentage that we now think and talk about these things. But generally saying, in the last 30 years, with all of those things that divides people or whatever, under any given factor or whatever you would like to call it, or however you would like to divide people, nothing has changed actually. And therefore I ask all of you guys, what have you specifically done in the last 30 years to actually prevent that? And when I mean you guys, I mean actually more politicians and how politics would have actually been handled in the last 30 years globally. And it makes me think that in the last 30 years, the human mankind has done literally nothing to get these kind of like discriminations, which these are clearly all, when you divide people, this is a discrimination. We have done nothing, completely nothing about that. And that's so sad, because there were multiple musicians. And now, even back in those days, as I realize now with specifically listening to Alien Shore there, so many artists that we maybe heard daily or weekly on the radio, they all put out these messages that we should stop doing that, dividing people or discriminating people. We should stop doing that. But the majority of the people around the globe, and now makes me think that planet Earth is not a good thing actually to be on. I mean, it makes me just speechless. The majority of the people still think like 30 years ago. Maybe given under the circumstances of religion maybe, or where you are born and what kind of like leadership, if there would be a democracy or a dictatorship or whatever. I get this. I totally get this, that people grow up differently on different continents or different states or whatever. We are all different, which is good. But at the same time, we are all the same. And you know, guys, what I mean by that, because I am different than maybe some other 29-year-old American guy there in Chicago. I may be totally different in terms of my personal behavior or whatever. But I'm still 100% the same as that specific guy there in Chicago when it comes down to biology, my body, or how I would like to be seen in the world, or how I would like to be treated in the world. And we haven't done a single thing about this. So that just brought Alien Shore up in me. As for the music, and let's talk about the song there for like 30 seconds. Totally different game than the last song that we did, Between Sun and Moon. You know it, guys, Between Sun and Moon sounded so pop music-like to me. I was kind of like disappointed about this song on Counterparts. And Alien Shore completely changed the game, but this, of course, has a lot to do with the message that the song is actually putting out to each individual who is listening to this song. And cool factor about this, cool bass playing by Geddy. He was hitting very hard on the notes, especially very hard on Alien Shore. The guitars, various sounding guitars by Alex were phenomenal. Each and every section or each and every part that Alex was playing there just sounded amazing. And as for the drums, you know it, guys, it's as usual. It sounds very easy, but once you think about the drums, it gets you a lot of confusion around your mind, and you really start to think about, is that a human who is playing drums there? Is that really a human? He must be godlike, and because he sounds godlike, he must be somehow of a god. That makes you think about whenever you listen to Neil actually playing the drums. That's a cool statement I just made there. We should point it out somewhere. So anyway, guys, I think you all understood that I really liked Alien Shore by our favorite boy band Rush, and thank you again for tuning in, and we will do very soon the song The Speed of Love. Would be very interesting to know about the speed of love, so therefore thank you guys for watching. Have a great day or great night, depending on what area you're living in on this miserable planet called Earth, and see you soon.